I want to kind of tie this all into things right now. So the show that I was kind of cooking up was kind of like I wanted to get strong personalities with different opinions. And the reason why I'm doing this, guys, I just want to make this clear. I'm not here hunting for drama. I'm not trying to stir a pot and stir shit up like that. What I am trying to do is there's a lot of opinions out in the junk removal world. And I'm trying to figure out things for myself. I'm brand new. I'm 4 months in, and I'm trying to figure out what works, what doesn't. And when you listen to some of these strong personalities, they are very adamant, some of them, that this works and this doesn't. And then somebody else says this works and this doesn't, and we're getting a lot of confusion because people are providing services, they're charging money and all. So it shades kind of like what you really need to be doing. So what I was thinking about doing was getting all these opinions together and kind of debating it on here. Not so much for the drama, but kind of to get an answer at the end of it all. What makes sense for you? Rather than just hearing somebody selling something and being like, all right, I think that's, something we need to do. Let's debate this kind of stuff out. Let's hear from people that were successful with using those services or weren't successful. This way that, the junk removal community kind of understands what's making sense for their business and what they should apply into stuff. So what I was thinking was, Ricardo being one of the strong opinions, and he says anything, and he disagrees with a lot of things that Andrew was saying and all. And Andrew, the way I look at it is Andrew's very innovative and the new way of technology, and he's bringing in all these new ways of marketing and stuff that the junk removal industry, I feel like, would never have got into if Andrew didn't come around. But Russ being Ricardo being old school, he's kind of stuck in his old ways and doesn't like all this new stuff and new ways coming out. So I kind of wanted just to bring everybody together. Now, I seen the whole beef going on with Russ and Andrew, so I was like, Russ might need to come on this as well, because Russ seems to, he's a coach. He also has very many years of experience. So I wanted to kind of put all these guys together. I talked to Ricardo. Ricky was down. He said, you got to talk with Russ first. I'm down to do it, but Russ, I don't think is going to want it. So I hit up Russ and all, and Russ was all down to come on until he heard Andrew was going to be involved in anything, and he didn't want nothing of it. So guys, so now that I just kind of explained everything for you guys, and I'm hoping Russ is listening. I know Ricky's definitely going to hear this and all. That's why I want to do this, guys. I'm not trying to poke you guys with a stick and here fight and entertain us and all. No, guys, I just want to hear you guys debate things out, because you guys have strong opinions and views and stuff. So what's everybody's thoughts on that? You guys kind of understand where I'm going with this? I'm trying to make this like a positive, productive thing. Dan.
Yeah, I got a lot of thoughts with this. So like, there's no right answer with any of this. Like you can do a business so many different ways. We all have our different starting points. You for instance, 4 months into it, but you started with a truck, wrapped, location, all these different things. Other people, I started with a truck and trailer. Some people like start with less, like I'm still working with U-Hauls here. It's a different path for each individual person, but it's not like this. It's either this and not that. It's kind of everything. Business just rolls. You have to, pick and choose your battles. You have to find what works for you. But I think it's just fun as a content creator to be able to come up with content just in general. You want to talk about what you're doing with your business, but that's not an end all be all, like you're just giving tips and advice and thoughts. Now, with the insurance thing, it's not good to recommend people to not have insurance. But overall, like we all start somewhere. It's just that don't strive to have no insurance for 3 years. Like get through your first year. Get your systems, find your employees. Get everything rolling. But you got to strive for that continued perfection. You can't just be sitting there doing the same thing over and over again, only worried about your bottom line. How are you growing things? How are you providing, other people with a lifestyle yourself? And there's so many different angles to that. So like, it's hard to say that there's one right answer for any of it.
Yeah, it's good. Dan, just to piggyback really quick, He's absolutely right because I would never recommend people to start with Google Ads ever, but I did. So
See, that's
Yeah,
it's like things like that. And just like you said, Dan, how there's no one way and there's so many different ways to success. And everybody that I have had on interview, I call it a superpower. They each have their own superpower that they utilize and they've found success that way. And each way is a different way. That's why I want Ricky Ricardo on here, because he seems to not think that. He thinks it's one way. He don't want to hear nothing else. Trying to scale and getting off the truck. Oh, you're stupid. This is not the business for that. So that's why I want that debate. I mean, he's been here 18 years. There is times where I'm just like, bro, this guy, he's just got to shut up, man. But then there's other times where I'm listening. I'm like, oh my God, yo,
he's got great ideas.
Yeah. And I'm like, wow, I would have never thought of that. And I'm like, holy shit, I got to look into that. So there's so many different things that I think we could gain from this. And I hope that these guys could just put that drama behind and we could just come together and let's have a conversation. We don't got to be best friends. We don't even got to like each other after this, but let's at least have the conversation for everybody. And Mr. Yee, I want to hear from you, bro. What's your thoughts on this whole, bringing them all together and all? Because I know you have strong opinions as well, man. You're one of those that like keeping it simple is the way to go.
I like to keep it simple, like a number 2 pencil. You know what I'm talking about? And to me, I hear all this back and forth, back and forth. This is junk removal. Anything else to me is like doesn't really even matter to me. You know what I'm talking about? And I think everybody has a right to their opinion. Everybody has a right to say what they say. I wake up and watch Ricardo, and Ricardo just hit me on Facebook, and it's love, but he's gonna have his opinion. Andrew's gonna have his opinion. I guess the guy Russ gonna have his opinion, and that's something that I think.
Mr. Yee, hold on. I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off, but somebody is trying to get on here and we're at the max of 10 people. So I don't know if Russ or Ricardo is in here trying to come on right now. So if you guys are, if Russ or Ricardo, if you are trying to, just let us know and we can possibly get somebody to pop off for a minute, let you come on and we could have, a conversation if that's what you want. I'm sorry, Mr. Yee, continue.
Nah, I'm going to hop off anyways because I got a lot going on here. I just want to check in with everybody. I'll probably pop on in a few so that way you can see who's at the door.
Definitely come back, brother. We'd love to have you on here, man. Thank you for checking in, brother.
Yeah, yes, sir. I was just getting back from a job, so I'm about to go into the house and everything. So I'll hop on in about 20 minutes. Let's see who's at the door for you.
Sounds good, brother. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
I thought my boy was doing Uber. You know what I mean?
I saw the red lights behind him. I thought he was getting pulled over.
But back to what we were saying is that that's something I think that would be a great live with just those two people. But far as all of us hearing it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, that's all they're doing. That's all we're hearing right now is ping pong, dink, 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 and it's like there's so many other things to talk about with junk removal and however you get it. But I'm one of the few who believe less is best. And just, get in the truck and go make it happen.
Well, Ricky just said, he says, Russ will never make it to 10 years in the junk removal industry. Junk guys, 12 locations nationwide, 2 haunted houses, 9 trucks, 10 trailers in this business. Russ will never catch up to the junk guys. Yeah, that's one of the questions I wanted to ask Ricky Ricardo. Does he own that whole franchise? Was that him? He started that? That's all?
I don't think it's a franchise.
It's not an actual. I don't know if I'm allowed to. I'm not going to say the specific numbers because I talked to Ricardo. I know exactly what he does, but I'm not going to say talk specific numbers. He licenses out the name for a certain amount of dollars per month, but it's not like a franchise. He doesn't get royalties. He just rents out the name, and he just works closely and tries to have people work by his. But it's not like his revenue. He's not getting franchise fees. It's just he's letting people use the name for a monthly price.
That's pretty smart though, man. When did he start that? How long ago did he start that up?
I don't know how long he's been doing it, but it's been a few years. Like he's got like 4 different locations.
Very nice.
Is this him in a chance right here?
So we got a 7-figure just said, you do not own 12 locations, dipshit. You lease the name and build the websites for $200 a month. So that's Russ answering to Ricky Ricardo over there.
Yeah, no, to the Whole Foods. Oh God, I can't. Dude, I think
I
it's
agree with that answer. Drama's good for the industry. You know, this is fun. You know, like, you know, just like little things like that. Like, you know, if Andrew's involved, or if, like, you know, I definitely see Ricardo involved in a lot of this stuff. But like, he's asking for it. He's trying to have fun. He's just poking the bear. He's just
he pokes the bear very well, doesn't he?
yeah, and like that's his superpower. He's so
That
good
is
at
his
it. Like,
superpower.
He wakes
I
up
love-
some days and he just wants to set this industry on fire, and he does. He is good at it, man.
But like, you know, like, just he's a great example, dude. Like, there's so many different goals and finish lines that everybody has. You know, like, you know, Andrew over here is trying to build a giant platform for everybody, right? You know, Ricardo, he's just spreading his joy of how he does things across the place. You know, some people are trying to franchise. Some people are trying to like scale across the country. Some people just want to dominate their one little city, you know, or just like have a lifestyle. There's so many different answers to this, you know. It's just, what do you want? That's the big question.